You are listening to a free version of the Majority Report with Sam Seder. To support this show and get another 15 minutes of daily program, go to majority.fm, please.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
It is Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps and steps and steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, Mike Konczal, Director of Progressive Thought at the Roosevelt Institute, on what should be in Phase 4 and whether we can get it. Then we will talk to John Nichols, The Nation magazine from Wisconsin, the epicenter of an election travesty. Meanwhile, Phase 3 of the stimulus is in shambles right now for anyone who is not a massive corporation. Knives out in the White House as someone leaks a Navarro January memo warning of a pandemic, but nobody knew. And surprise, surprise, Donald Trump has a vested interest in the hydroxychloroquine companies. And Republican Senator David Perdue is the latest to be revealed as profiting off of the secret coronavirus intel briefing. Tyson closes a pork processing factory and grocery workers are infected. How will we provide goods and services going forward? Boris Johnson is in the ICU. Foreign minister has been deputized. And early data show that African Americans are contracting and dying of coronavirus at an incredibly elevated rate. Lastly, SCOTUS expands police stopping powers if you're driving. All this and more on today's program. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We had some issues the other day in regarding our streaming. We hopefully are in better shape today. Bear with us. We're going to do the plugs and notices at the end of the program because I don't know if it's superstition or we actually think that we get a certain amount of time streaming and then it cuts out for whatever reason. The cable company that Matt uses is not great. We're not going to knock them because, yeah, we are. Optimum because
Jim's going.
There may be a lot of people using them. I don't know, in the city, or we're not we're not sure. Nevertheless, this is what we're going to do, and we endeavor to get the show to you live every day. We hope that you will give us some patience and continue to watch. And we will continue to do the show. And, of course, we post it, and all the clips will come up later. I don't know if we're going out on audio today or not, but we're going to work on trying to restore that as well. Right now, I think we're just doing YouTube because we're streaming issues. So that said, also reminder, it's your support that keeps this program alive, particularly in this era. Our monetization rate, as they say on YouTube, is down dramatically, not to be unexpected. Advertisers are pulling back. We still, fortunately, have advertisers who are coming through our podcast, and we're taking those as those come in. They're a little bit slower than normal as well, but this is the way it goes. But if you are in a position, you listen to the show on a regular basis, and you can support the program, please do. You can do so by going to jointhemajorityreport.com, become a member. You get extra content. and you keep the show trucking along, and you also help other people get this content. If you are one of those people who have lost your job, if you're dealing with some type of financial stress, don't hesitate. Send us an email, majorityreporters@gmail.com. It'll give us a little time because we're backed up on a lot of stuff, but we will hook you up. No one will be locked out for financial reasons on this show. Attitude will get you locked out, but financial reasons, no. Let's go into this. I've been talking about, I guess we started this conversation with Hayes on Friday when he was on, and it was based upon a White House presser where the admiral who has been appointed in charge of the supply chain, sourcing and distributing personal protection equipment, other needed supplies to deal with the health crisis, basically revealed that what the federal government was doing was expending tax dollars, sourcing material in places like China and around the world, flying it back to America, and then instead of distributing it to hospitals or states for them to distribute to hospitals or municipalities for them to distribute it to hospitals, they essentially either gave it or sold it at cost to a half a dozen medical supply distribution companies that, yes, have maybe the apparatus to get it to the hospitals, although you could have just brought these to the states who have been working on this. In New York State, as you know, all the hospitals now have been basically put under one administrative umbrella. The state is now coordinating supply lines, where staff goes. It's as if it's one big state-run hospital system in New York now, because that's the most efficient way to do it. And I suppose you could make an argument that these medical distributors, they already have these relationships and they know how to get it out the door, but they weren't selling it at a fair market value. They weren't capped on what they could charge for this. They basically started an auction process, which not only meant that you had states that didn't have the resources were getting outbid, but sometimes all the states were getting outbid and it was going back overseas. This is the type of stuff, honestly, that when this is over, and I don't even mean entirely over, but when the narrow crisis that we're facing right now, this surge is over, this is the type of stuff that I want to see people in court. I want to see hearings, and then I want to see people in court, criminal court. Here is J.B. Pritzker. He's the governor of Illinois, confirming all of this from the buyer perspective of a state. Clip number 3.
Because what the White House has done is created, they call this the air bridge, where they're bringing stuff back from China to the United States, and then they're delivering it to private companies in the United States, not to the states. And they're letting all of us bid against each other for those goods that are owned by the private companies. So we've just gone around all that and gone directly to manufacturers wherever we could.
This is appalling. This is appalling. When we talk to Mike Konczal, he'll have more to say about sort of like how our system of our government and basically where we're starting, does not allow for providing relief in dealing with the oncoming economic catastrophe we could be looking at. But this is an ideological problem. This is an ideological problem. There was absolutely no need for this. In fact, we played a clip of the General Honore, the guy who was in charge of this during Katrina, and he said he's never heard of anything like this. We've never done it this way. It's absurd. And it really is criminal because just that process itself delayed everything. There's no reason My understanding, too, is that when the Patriots sent their plane over to China to buy a bunch of N95 masks to bring it back from Massachusetts, it was confiscated by the federal government and then presumably given to a private enterprise to then auction it off. This is just nuts. It's nuts. It's enraging, and we need to see more, frankly, from the opposition party in dealing with this. It's completely nuts. We will talk more about this as the program goes on. Hopefully, I won't lose it. Should remind you that the Majority Report is made in part by Skillshare. The first 500 people who go to skl.sh/Majority Report 7 are going to get a free premium membership to Skillshare for 2 entire months. Skillshare, as you know, is an online learning community that offers thousands of classes on almost any topic you imagine. And all classes are taught by experts in their field. They have classes on drawing, painting, photography, video editing, web design, running a small business, a whole lot more. I don't know why I have trouble saying drawing. I think that's a Massachusetts thing. Anyways, almost all the classes are less than an hour long. Every class is split up into bite-sized lessons, like little chapters. So it's easy to fit Skillshare into your week, easy to watch a couple of chapters now, go tell the kids to be quiet or feed them lunch or something like that, and then get back to it. I've got 3 now that I have lined up to watch. I've already started watching one. I got a couple chapters into Haircuts at Home. As you can see, my hair is about as long as it's been in, I don't know, probably 2 decades. And it's getting really long. I mean, you can't even tell in the back. I mean, it's out of control. So I'm watching how to give haircuts at home. Also, bread making, sourdough for beginners. I've got Mila on that. She's better do it quick because we got Passover coming up in 36 hours. Bread's got to be out of the house. And then I'm going to do speed reading. I'm a fast reader, but why not brush up? Skillshare has classes for every level. Whether you wanted to get better at something you already have a lot of experience with, or you want to explore something that's totally new to you. Everybody can benefit from setting aside a little more time to get creative or to improve their skills in specific, entrepreneurship, et cetera, et cetera. A membership to Skillshare costs less than $10 a month. It gives you access to their entire library classes. But for the first 500 people who go to skl.sh/Majority Report 7, you're going to get a free membership for 2 whole months. Put the link underneath this video if you're watching on YouTube. It is in the podcast description. Also, I always enjoy reading ads for The New Yorker. Why? Because The New Yorker publishes the best writing by the most influential authors in the world. It's got award-winning reporting, political commentary, cultural criticism, fiction and poetry, cartoons, and more. I've got to say, the only thing that I read now in print form, I read it digitally, The New Yorker, but I'll do that because I'll go and I'll read, I'm just reading actually a digital piece on why the testing regime fell apart in this country. But when I want to just relax for 10 minutes or half an hour, because that's all I get, I don't get more than like 27 minutes of relaxation on any given day. I'll pick up my print copy of The New Yorker. Sometimes I'll do the crossword puzzles. I'll try and avoid the politics, but inevitably I get sucked in. But I'll read reviews about food or movies, because I don't know anything about any of that stuff. And obviously, I always enjoy the cartoons. The New Yorker's exceptional writers, as you know, make them unique. They got Robin Wright, National Magazine Award winner. She covers politics, International Affairs, and Hilton Als, who won the Pulitzer Prize for criticism in 2017. Now you can get 12 weeks for just $6